Hello there amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new Doctor Who video for today. So this video, it is the next episode in my series that has been going on since January 2022, ranking every single season and series of Doctor Who from 39th place down to number 1. And we are in the top 5, people. We are in the top 5 seasons of Doctor Who that I physically absolutely enjoy. I love rewatching them. I have so much for these seasons. So today, as you know, we are talking about in 5th place. We are in 5th place now. We are so close to my number 1 season, and you'll probably guess which one this is going to be because I just really love my all-time favourite season. But saying that, my top 5 are the ones I do consider to rewatch a lot of in Doctor Who. When I'm rewatching Doctor Who, if I was going to rewatch a whole entire season, these are the top 5 I really do go back and rewatch quite a lot. So, let's dive into it. So, in 5th place for this series, in 5th place, we have my all-time favourite Jon Pertwee season. Yes, I have placed Jon Pertwee seasons all over this ranking series, and number 5, it is my all-time favourite season of his, and this is the one I love rewatching a lot, and it is season 10. Season 10. And what can I tell you about this season? Well, it's such a belter of a season. We have the return of William Hartnell. We have the return of Patrick Troughton. We have the departure to Jo Grant. And this is just absolutely brilliant season. I love season 10. My all-time favourite Pertwee season is season 10. So I'm going to explain why that is. So we have 5 stories, 26 episodes, and every single one of these are just a belter. So we have got the 3 Doctors in this. We've got the Carnival of Monsters. We've got Frontier in Space. We've got Planet of the Daleks. And of course, my all-time favourite story out of the season, The Green Death. Well, my second favourite story of the season, my first favourite, is actually the 3 Doctors. Yes. So, let's dive into what I think of this season, and then let me know in the comments in the bottom what you think of season 10. So season 10, we have 5 great stories, and I'm going to talk about little bits and dabs of them, okay? So for the first one we have is, of course, the 3 Doctors. And this is the very first return for Patrick Troughton since leaving the show in 1969, when he basically got forced to regenerate into Jon Pertwee, aka the 3rd Doctor. And of course, this is the last ever appearance we are ever going to see for William Hartnell, as he passes away 2 years after this story was broadcast. And William Hartnell has not been seen as the Doctor since 1966, on the 29th of October, when he regenerated into Patrick Troughton. I have to admit, this story is absolutely brilliant. We've got Time Lords. We've got the Time Lords basically becoming a bit weaker. And after this story, they've literally just become weak, where in the War Games, the introduction, they were very, very powerful. Same with Connery in Space, when they just sent the Doctor on the mission for them. I have to admit, I do like the 3 Doctors though, because one, we have Stephen Fry, who basically plays Azel in the Daemons, and of course he does play the male version of Adrad Must Live in The Hand of Fear. But for me to say why I really love the 3 Doctors, now, one, we have the 2nd and the 3rd Doctors basically just bickering from halfway through episode 1 of this 4-part story. So what can I tell you about it? Well, we kind of have the Doctor basically investigating Mr. Olive's disappearance. And as he goes back to the unit lab, we can meet Dr. Tyler. And he's there investigating as well. He's actually getting unit, and of course, I love the way the Doctor goes, yes, do you mind if you just pass me that silicone? Yes, of course, Doctor, why? And the Doctor's there with a cup of coffee, and he just stares it in his coffee, and he goes, and the Director goes, what can unit do about this, Doctor? No? Oh, yes, of course, don't worry. I really love the way how this bobbly antimatter creature just basically vanishes Bessie after basically the Doctor and Jo accidentally leave her because of this antimatter creature. And then during an attack in the first episode, we meet the Gel Guards. Yes, the big old bubbly creatures with only one arms and going, and you kind of have that special weapon that goes, that kind of like high pitched sound that goes. I really love the way how the 2nd Doctor basically appears, because when the 3rd Doctor sends an SOS to the Time Lords because he needs the Time Lords' help, and they're like, Maybe he can help himself. You are ultimating the first law of time. The Doctor must not meet himself. Yes, I know. But this is the most important time. We are at a crisis. Let your own head be it. I love the way how the Doctor, you got Sergeant Benton, you got Joe in a TARDIS, and they hear a noise and he goes, oh, it seems like a recorder. You haven't seen this, have you? And when the second Doctor just pops his hand and goes, ah, thank you. I was wondering when that gets to. And he plays the recorder, he goes, you've been trying to play this, have you? And then, of course, Joe goes, who is he? And then you got Sergeant Benton go, Doctor. He goes, don't tell me. Corton Benton, isn't it? He goes, Sergeant Benton, oh, my dear fellow, how nice to see you again. I haven't seen you since that nasty business with the Cybermen. Oh, that was all those years ago. And when Joe asks who he goes, more to the point, Joe, he is one of us. One of me, to be precise. And he goes, oh, no, 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 no. You see, Joe, may I call you Joe? Yes, he's just a bit confused. Joe. You see, he is one of me. Oh, I see, you're both Time Lords. Quite, but not quite. We're not just Time Lords. We're the same Time Lord. Oh, look, you're just confusing my assistant. Look, Joe, it's all quite simple. I and he is me. I really love the way John Pertwee just does that. And then you've got the two Doctors bickering about the times. And when the first Doctor appears, and he's there talking to the two Doctors, he goes, now, what is the bridge for? Now, stop gilly-gapping and cross it. And then, of course, you have the second Doctor go, no, wait. And the Doctor goes, you phrased it again. And when Joe goes, I want to ask, who was that? And the two Doctors goes, me. I just really love that bit. And then, of course, when the second Doctor flips a coin and the third Doctor goes, heads, he goes, hard luck. Right. Lower the force field. Doctor, no. And then, of course, he goes, zap. And I really love the way how the Brigadier meets the second Doctor again. And when he sees him, the Brigadier goes, oh, no. Yeah, oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's not just so. It's the first one. But what on earth have you done to Miss Grant? Well, and then when you kind of hear the Doctor, like, explain the situation with the Brigadier, and the Brigadier goes, I know what's been going on. You've been messing with that Fernal caption of yours. And you shot Miss Grant, ever knows where. And, of course, what about the Doctor? Oh, don't be silly, Benton. I've got the Doctor. He can wear whatever face he wants, as long as he does the job. And then, of course, I love the antimatter creatures. And then when you got the Brigadier in the TARDIS and they're just basically talking, the second Doctor basically takes apart the Brigadier's radio control to put it through the TARDIS. And the Brigadier goes, oh, I give up. And the Doctor just goes, oh, yes. Oh, dear. And then, of course, when the first Doctor comes to talk to the second Doctor and they have that situation, and then the Brigadier asks, who was that? And, oh, Brigadier, you will not believe it until I tell you. And then, of course, later on in the episode, when the Brigadier goes, what, 3 of them? I didn't know I was well off. I just honestly have to admit, I really love the way the Brigadier is in this story. It's absolutely brilliant. And this is one of my favourite stories, I have to admit. And I love how the two Doctors come across Omega and they're having this situation talking and go, who is that? Is that really Omega? Yes, it is. It really is Omega. I honestly admit, I just absolutely flipping love that story. It's absolutely brilliant. It's amazing. The next story is, of course, Carnival of Monsters. So, at the end of the 3 Doctors, the Doctor had a new demilitarization circuit because the Time Lords actually forgiven the Doctor and want him to have his freedom back to travel through time and space. And of course, the TARDIS ends up in a little mini scope because its demilitarization circuit got stuck inside it. So basically, they're kind of in this situation called Carnival of Monsters on this planet with these blue miner people. And these 2 dandy people dancing around. And then, of course, we have the Drassics in the story, which is one of my favourite things I love about the Carnival of Monsters. I just absolutely love the Drassics because the way they hunt people down, and you got this guy going, I put my hand in. Do you know how dangerous it is when you to hold a Drassic? They kind of bit me through my bone. I really love that. And then, of course, the story of it all gets put back into normal, and of course, the Doctor and Joe do leave the planet. The next story is, of course, Frontier in Space. Now, this is I've already done my review on this story, so if you want to know more about Frontier in Space, do check it out. But this is the last appearance of Roger Delgado, because sadly, after the story was actually broadcast, he passed away in a car accident in Turkey while going to film a film, which is very sad. And this is Roger Delgado's very last performance, and of course, we don't really get to see what happens to him. He just basically 1 minute he's there, he runs off, and then that's it for Roger Delgado. We never know what happened to his master until Big Finish dives into that at some point. We never know, do we? And then, of course, the next story is actually called Planet of the Daleks. So when the third Doctor is basically shot by the Master, he's gone into this kind of like icy coma. He actually does contact the Time Lords to send the TARDIS after them to go to the planet Spyridon to try and stop the Daleks. Wait a minute, why on the planet Spyridon? No, the Daleks are there because they want the power of the Spyridons, which is the power of invisibility. If the Daleks became invisible, they would become the most deadly force in the universe, and nobody would stop them because they'd be invisible and you will never see them. Which basically their plans do fail, thanks to the third Doctor, thanks to Jo Grant, and thanks to the Thals. Basically, following the Daleks from Skaro, another group of Thals come after them and basically informs the leader of the first Thal group, going, somewhere on this planet there's 10,000 Daleks. I really do love this story, Planet of the Daleks. It's not my favourite Dalek story, I mean, for Jon Pertwee. I mean, I'm sorry to say that. This used to be. But Day of the Daleks actually has took over this one lately, because I love rewatching Day of the Daleks, thanks to the Blu-ray. I have to admit, thanks to the Blu-ray, I have got my review coming out on the Blu-ray, because at the moment, I'm actually on the Sea Devils. Yeah, the original 6-part version. I haven't come across I haven't really watched the Omnibus version yet. I'm literally on just about to start it later on today. I do love this story though. Planet of the Daleks is flat out amazing and stuff, and I really love it. And then, of course, we jump into the final story of the season, which is, of course, The Green Death, which is Jo Grant, aka Katie Manning's last story as Jo Grant, because Jo goes and marries Professor Jones. I absolutely do like the story, because when they're basically doing this whole story about global chemicals, and of course chemicals is basically making these big giant maggots and these big giant ass flies. And of course the Doctor is there going, yeah, I know what's going on. I love the fact when the Doctor goes to Jo and he goes, you coming to Metal 3, Jo? No. And the Brigadier goes, Doctor, I want you to follow me down. And the Doctor goes, you do what you want, Brigadier, but I'm going to Metal 3. And the way the third Doctor literally goes into his TARDIS to go to Metal 3, and he literally comes attacked by these big giant creatures, all because he's got his hands on the Metebelis crystal. And he goes back to Unit HQ while they're trying to ring him from South Wales. And the Doctor answers the phone and goes, hello, I will talk to anybody. And then, of course, next scene we got the Doctor driving Bessie down to Wales to try and sort out the situation where global chemicals are going down the mine. And, of course, basically, Jo's there. And when the Doctor realises somebody's going down there, and he's like, you've got to stop them. And then, of course, episode 2 is when they're going through the mines and they find big giant maggots. And they're basically in this truck with this big kind of rowing thing, and they're kind of rowing through the maggots. I just really do enjoy The Green Death. And of course, it's really bad when you kind of see Professor Jones dying, but he is saved by his own fungus that he's making himself, which does go around and kill the maggots, because we do have Sergeant Benton basically having that fantastic line where he goes, come on, get your din-dins. I really love Sergeant Benton when the Doctor's to go, Sergeant Benton! Sorry. And he's just there throwing it, because I really love the way how Benton just goes, come on, get your din-dins. It's really a Sergeant Benton line, isn't it? Come on, get your din-dins, to these big giant ass maggots. And then while they're doing that, and this big giant fly flies over them, and of course Benton's there with this fungus, throws it up, and it basically does kill the big giant fly. And then of course the Doctor and Jo do have that heartwarming moment where she goes, will I see you again? The Doctor goes, will I see you? Yes, Jo, yes. And then he drives away in Bessie in the dawn. And that's basically it for this season, really. That's little bits and dabs from each story. I have to admit, season 10, it's my 5th favourite season of Doctor Who. It's my all-time favourite season of Jon Pertwee. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of the season? And please join me for more awesome Doctor Who content. Thank you for watching, and have a cracking day, you amazing viewers and subscribers.